Howdy folks, this is Delta Earlier. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and yep, we're starting at the end of the runway, ready to go again because we're going to do another Jack of all planes flight towards the achievement 300 miles in each of the 20 aircraft of the standard edition of the Flight Simulator. And it's daytime now, and no rain because we already accomplished the nighttime and rain achievements, so now we can just fly during the day, which will be great. The new added challenge, though, is that the planes we have left to fly, we have 6 left. Look at my list: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planes left. None of them have autopilot, so we have to hand fly the remaining 6 aircraft for the achievement. But that'll be okay. That'll give me something to do. Unfortunately, they're also the slowest planes in the simulator. So, for example, the Savage Cub we're going to do today is going to take me over 4 hours to fly 300 miles. And the reason why it's going to take so long is because, well, it's supposed to take 3 hours and 45 minutes, but because I'll be watching YouTube and things while I fly, and won't be going in a perfectly straight line, so I have to add a few minutes to accommodate for that. So otherwise, that's what we're doing. Where are we going? Well, we're in England, or UK today. I'll show you on the map where we are, but I'm just enjoying the scenery before we take off here. In fact, let's speed this up a little bit. There we go. And it's, well, kind of sunrise-ish. The sun is up for so short of a time here that that sun should go right across the sky as we fly. But anyway, I believe that is everything I wanted to say in the introduction. If I forgot anything, too bad. I rehearsed this like 10 times, which means I'm sure I forgot stuff. Because when you rehearse it, you say everything. But when you start to record, you forgot what you've said. So anyway, just getting familiar with my presets again. I know we flew this for the Nevada bush trip, but that was a long time ago. That was a couple months ago for me. I don't think it was a couple months ago for you, but it was for me. Can we look behind us in this one? Yeah, that should be your preset number 8, I think. Yeah. Actually go down like this, maybe. Alright, are there any lights in this thing so I can kind of light up the dash a little bit? I don't think so. If there are, I don't think so. We're going to do strobe and landing, though. I think we're going to do strobe and landing. There we go. Why is it hesitating on me? No smoking, fasten seatbelts, bins prohibited. Alright, I think that's all we have to say about that. Let's tell you where we are. We are at Echo Golf, Papa Charlie, and we are going to fly all the way to Echo Golf, Charlie, November. How did I choose those? Random. All these flights I just choose at random. We can try to use the AI co-pilot since there's not autopilot, but that hasn't been working very well in my other flights I've been trying, so we just have to plan on hand flying this whole thing. ATC gave us clearance, so let's get going. Alright, first set of flaps down. Actually, let's do 2 sets of flaps for this. We'll put our head out the side so we can kind of see. Parking brake off, and away we go. I'm honestly getting really sick of tail draggers because of all the bush trips, but that's okay. Alright, lift off on its own. Flaps coming in, and flaps coming in. What are we going to do here? We are going to rely heavily on our VIFR, and then we'll hand fly as best as we can. So let's turn this around and enjoy this incredible imagery. Wow. I certainly will. Thank you very much. Acknowledge the indication and keep an eye on that map. And how high are we going to fly? I don't know. I don't think we have to fly that high. I was thinking 6,000 feet probably. Yeah, probably 6,000 feet. And I want to try that AI co-pilot. I just don't expect good results. There we go. That was what I was looking for. Wowzers. Alright, let's see. We're at 2,000 feet. Or not 2,000, 1,000. I was 1,200 when I started, but now it's 1,600. Trim down a little bit. We don't have to climb so steeply. I don't know how this is going to take 4 hours. That's what I said it would take. We should be able to cruise quite a bit faster than that. Keep in mind, this is kilometers per hour, not knots, so that's probably why. Yeah, otherwise we are going to trim it out. And hand flying shouldn't be too bad. I have weather turned off just because I don't want to run into IMC. So we're going to fly with great weather, so it should be easy to trim out. Not much turbulence. But we'll see how it goes. There's been some planes that don't work as well as it would seem. Other planes, it's just fine. Look at those shadows. Frequency changed approved. Okay, okay. Alright, there we go. Kind of hard to fly backwards here. Keep an eye on what we're doing up front. And pretty soon we will zoom this in. Let's just do it now so we can stay better on our track a little bit, because the more we S-curve back and forth and stuff, it's going to add minutes. So every time you do an S-curve, you can add 30 seconds to a minute. So you gotta stay pretty much on that line. Or else this is going to take all day, which it is anyway. I'm going to be doing this little by little and just stitch it all together for you so it's seamless. Let's have a look around while we climb. Alright, so I have us trimmed out to about 183 miles an hour, which right now is translating about 500 feet per minute, so I'll keep it like that until we get to our desired altitude, and then we're going to go crazy. So 180 kilometers an hour is about, I can't remember in knots. I'm going to have to do the conversion, put them on the screen, but that's how fast we're going right now. We'll go a little bit faster, careful not to hit the red and crash due to stress, and hopefully this will take less than 4 hours. I'm looking at my real life clock right now because I'm not going to record continuously, so I can't use my recording to give you the final time. Looking at my clock, taking note of it, and then I'll let you know what the final time was. Alrighty, otherwise not much else to say. We've talked about this aircraft extensively in the Nevada trip. That sun is amazingly annoying on purpose, and I love it. Holy cow. What else is there to say or do? Nothing. Oh, I did want to point out one thing here. I love that you can see the islands from this altitude above the tail. I just thought that was really cool. So anyway, I'm going to give you, well, I'm going to sightsee over the neck. Whoa, we're starting to veer off path here. See what I'm saying? You got to be careful. We're probably going to have to mess with my alien trim too, not just elevator trim. Anyway, I'm going to give you sightseeing over the course of the next 3 or 4 hours, stitch it together for you, and only talk if there's a highlight. I don't need to talk about the plane. I don't have any UK stories. We're just going to fly and hopefully trim it out so I don't have to hold on to it for 3 hours. And yeah, I'm not going to try the AI co-pilot. This thing is going so well just with trimming it that I'm not going to try the co-pilot. So I'll see you later sometime. Probably a different day in real life, to be honest, but I'll see you then. Alrighty, just having a mid-flight update. I've been flying for 2 hours and 10 minutes so far. We'll look on the map and see where we are, but I just wanted to sightsee with you all and give you a quick update. The city is amazing. I'm going to look up what city this is. Oh, I'm going to show you why I think they're getting stuck in a minute here. I'm going to look up what city this is. I have a feeling I should know. I'll be able to look at the airport code that we're flying over. That'll tell me where we are, and this won't turn. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's been some, I'm going to talk about some stuff here that's weird. That's a cockpit view thing though. Let's use the mouse. Oh my gosh. Now I can't go that way. So you can't. In these tail draggers, when you're looking around, you can go one way but not the other. I'm totally getting off on my map. Oh, I'm not too bad. I was doing a good job staying perfectly on the line this whole time. So now that I'm talking and looking around, it's not going very smoothly, but that's okay. Let's hop outside. There we go. Cool. I am going to look up this city. There's a huge airport there. I'll look it up based on the airport, tell you what it is. Good grief. That was awkward to say, but I'm not going to redo it because that was some good sightseeing out the window, and I don't want to get rid of that view. So anyway, this is where we are. What I say, we're doing 2 hours and 12 minutes now of flying. I've been doing a pretty good job staying exactly on the line. Pretty happy about that. Weird things have been happening though. Oh, we're down to 6,000 feet. I was up to 7,000 for a while. So there's been complaints ever since the 1.11.7 update, which is what we're running at the time of this recording. There were complaints that glass cockpits were turning off, and then there were complaints that analog gauges were freezing. Well, I've never had a glass cockpit turn off, but I have had analog gauges freezing. But I'm having a third issue that no one else is talking about, and that's my yoke will freeze on me. So several times now I'll be sitting here and all of a sudden the airplane will go left, and I have no control over the yoke. And then I'll get some control where it'll go incremental, like it'll go like this. I can't do it because it's not doing it now, but it'll be incremental instead of smooth. And then I'll have issues where it suddenly works again. So right now it's working. See how smooth that is right now. But that hasn't been the case. So 3 times so far in these 2 hours, I've lost control of my yoke. And if you remember several videos back on one of these long trips, we had the yoke freeze right during final those like minimums, right? Was it going into Fargo, I think? When we were at minimums and the yoke froze and I almost crashed. And I regained control last second. So again, people are talking about the glass cockpits freezing. I'm not having that issue. People are talking about the steam gauges and analog gauges freezing. I have had that issue where like I'll be going up and also my VSI will get stuck or my attitude indicator won't report what I'm doing, then it'll catch up. But I'm having a third issue where my yoke has been freezing. So I'm going to go to not the forums, I'm too busy with the forums, but I'll go to the Facebook group and the Discord and see if anybody else is having those issues. The problem with the simulator being so popular, when I go to those social media resources, everyone's like, well, you talked about that 4 days ago. I'm like, dude, I read like 1,000 posts a day on the Discord. I don't read all 10,000 posts a day on the Discord, so sorry if I missed it. And the search function is kind of useless. So I'll see what I can do about that, but it's been driving me crazy. It's been causing some issues here. But anyway, let's see. Okay, so that was Echo Golf November Tango, whatever city that was. But now we know what it was. Anyway, let's look at the overall view of where we are. We have our destination in sight. Charlie November. There it is. Destination is in sight on the map. Although we have a long ways to go. I'm expecting another hour or so. So it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes now. I'm expecting it to be another hour of flying. I did a repair refuel once, so we didn't run out of fuel halfway through. The reason why I'm doing unrealistic things like filling up in the middle of the flight is because you have to do these long flights to get the achievement, and there's no other way to do it. So anyway, so some difficulties there, some challenges with keeping track of fuel without fuel gauge. At least I haven't found a fuel gauge. I've been doing distance and time to calculate when we need fuel, and the yoke freezing up. Other than that, everything's going really smoothly. It's actually not boring not having clouds. It's been interesting enough flying by hand and trying to stay in a straight line and continuously trimming. Well, the up and down trim for the most part is fine, although now that I've been talking, I've been bumping my yoke and I have to fix that because we're coming down in altitude. The alien trim I've been bumping back and forth on purpose. So anyway, there you go, your mid-flight update. Back to some sightseeing, and I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, we're getting down to the end here, and if I stay at 170 degrees, that's about where we end up staying on track, right? Yeah, we're parallel to it, but we're in the same direction. So 170 degrees, time to tune in our airport, Echo, Golf, Charlie, November, because we're almost there already. So let's come out here and tune on ATC, and our we already said, is it Golf Charlie? Let me see. Golf Charlie November. Golf Charlie November is number 7, right? And let's tune in the tower and request a full stop landing, and let's see what instructions they give us.
Sierra 4105 is 10 miles north with Sierra to land. Turtle Soup Tango Sierra 4105 tower. Make straight in runway 20. Altimeter 29.902 wind 272 at 3.
Alright, so we want to do runway 20, which is 200 degrees, which means it'll be a dog leg to the right. Sure, looks like it. So we're coming down, obviously, we're at 5,000 feet. I don't know airport elevation. I can't imagine it's much more than 1,000 feet. If even that, probably only a couple hundred at most. So let's come down steeply, comfortably, and realistically. And do not lose sight of those blinking lights, so that we won't have to circle around or go around. We can just aim right for it and we'll land. So we're going to keep our ears on ATC so they give us clearance any moment now. And can we look around together? I don't know, things are happening too quickly. We can try, oh boy, we can try going like this. Looks like we're nosediving, but that's because the camera angle is tied to the airplane, not the world. So it looks much scarier than it is. And I can barely make out the runway from here, center of your screen. There's a nice neighborhood, but let's put that away. That is not working out. Let's just get closer and land. And as with this moment, it's been exactly 3 hours of flying with the wheels off the ground. So we'll see how long this takes by the time we get out there, probably another 5 or 6 minutes or so. So it's an interesting trip. I admit the sightseeing wasn't as exciting as I had anticipated. And but it's okay. It still looks great. More interesting than the Midwest when I went over to Nebraska. That wasn't that exciting, but I was expecting more terrain changes, I guess. Maybe it's just where we were along the coast wasn't the most exciting area, but it was still gorgeous. And hopefully enjoy the sightseeing. And but now that it's time to land, I still feel pretty perky. We can get this thing on the ground, and I will be excited to be done. I'll admit it. Clear to land. Clear to land. All right, but yeah, I'll be excited to land. To be quite honest, sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. Just depends on the airplane and how far we've gone. All right, we're clear to land. We got 1 white, 3 red on the Peppy. So we're going to try to stay a little more level here until it's 2 and 2, and then we'll slow down. What were the winds? Winds are 272, and runway is 20 or 200 degrees. So we're going to have quite a crosswind. 200 to 272 is, well, 72 degrees crosswind, so almost perpendicular to the right. What is the wind, though? 3 knots. Shouldn't really feel it in the sim, but we'll see. If it were X-Plane, it'd be a hurricane from the right, but it's Microsoft, so it should be a little more realistic. Final views together. I should have stayed at this altitude the whole time. This would have been far more interesting. Far more interesting, but anyway, now's not the time to look around that much. Final view, though. Final look. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Alright, we're all red, so we're not doing a very good job here. And since we're tail dragger, we should be high anyway and come down steeply so we can keep sight on the runway and then level off at the last second to bleed off. We should be coming in low like this in any plane, especially on a tail dragger. So let's slow down and gain some altitude. Pitch up to slow down. Throttle where it needs to be for speed or for altitude. See, we're losing sight of the runway because we have to gain altitude. Our final shot out the window. Man, I need to stay lower to the ground. Yeah, we might have to stay lower to the ground for some of these. It might take us longer, but it'd be much more attractive to stay closer to the ground. More looking out the window, I just can't help myself. Oh, do you see that wind turbine back there? That was cool. Oh, it's gone now. That's okay. Alright, we don't want to ground loop. We don't want to bounce more than once, so we're going to come in right at stall and let it touch down like a rock, dropping the last couple feet. And, yeah, if we were doing a Cessna, this would be a great approach, but we're not. We're doing the Taildrager, so it's going to be kind of hard to see here at the last second. But that's okay. We have an enormous airport for this thing anyway. So here we go, the final few seconds. Let's slow down even more. I get 2 sets of flaps, but let's not stop yet. Not till we're over the threshold anyway. And then we're just going to drop it like a rock. The last couple feet. Here we go. Slow and steady wins the race. And come down. Come down. Runway is much wider than it looks. We're actually centered. What do you imagine that? Nope, a little bit to the right. Now let's drop it like a rock. There we go. There's one bounce. Boom. Perfect. Flaps in. And on the tail wheel. And now we're going to go to taxi view. And I do have taxi ribbon on. Just because we want to get credit for these flights, I will turn it off after we've completed the Jack of all trades achievement. I would like to keep them on all the time, to be honest. They are very useful and helpful, but they just look so nasty and very amateurish and disgusting. I can't believe they didn't do a better job with these taxi ribbons. I'm very disappointed, to be honest. There's so much more they could do with them. I know. Yeah, I'm going to. I just have to get there first. I know. We're about to turn off right now. We just don't want to ground loop from going too fast when we start to make our turn here. So here we go. Nice and slow. Slow and steady. Whoopsie. Careful. And I don't feel guilty or cheaty about using the taxi outside view. That's because I like the view. I mean, we have these views set up, right? We could use these just fine. No problem. But I just like the view from the outside. That's why we use them. 128.775.
128.775 Turtles of Tango Sierra 4105.
Taxi to parking number 3.
Ground Turtles of Tango Sierra 4105. Request taxi to parking.
I'm going slowly until we get our instructions, and then we'll get back going with speed here.
Taxi to General Aviation parking by taxiway Alpha.
Taxi acknowledgement.
Taxiing to General Aviation.
Now we can hop back outside and get some more speed
Alpha,
here.
Turtles of Tango Sierra
And get there with haste. Come on, I can't see the person. So we're going to have to go like this. Okay, they're saying going left, but the box is to my right. Oh, whatever. And it's green, and stop, don't hit them. Don't hit them. Good, set the parking brake, come inside. And let's hope that we get credit for this flight. Killing the mixture. Mixture's not killing, why not? What? Is everything frozen? Oh no. I can't remember which one is mixture. It's not these, is it? That's choke or something. One is choke and one is heat, I think. I can't turn my airplane off. Throttle works. Mixture doesn't work. Auto mixture is not on. Fine, we'll just turn the key then. Maybe this doesn't have a mixture. It's still running with the key off. Okay, it's going to give us credit though. 3 hours and 5 minutes in the air, because this flight time is wheels up to wheels down. It's not the taxiing and screwing around. It's actually in the air time. 3 hours and 5 minutes. Let's make sure it counted. We're looking for 75% on our achievement list. There it is, Jack of all planes, 75%, it counted. So there you go, hopefully you enjoyed it. I really did. The hand fly isn't so bad, except when the yoke locks up, which I have nothing I can do about it, but it just means I have to be here. So that was, yeah, that was Not all recorded in one sitting. A little behind the scenes ruining the magic for you. I had to splice together after pausing it for moments of time, long moments of time. But anyway, we did it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I cannot wait to do the next one. I think we're going to fly in some mountains for the next one. That's going to be weird. Hand flying for 300 miles in the mountains. What am I thinking? Whatever. I will see you then.